It seemed like the perfect combination. Johnson, Penske and Ambrose. Marcus stormed into the top 10 shootout at the Clipsal 500 and most thought the champ was back. However, privately he felt a disconnect with the car and so he made a brave decision to step down from driving for a while. In doing so, a young star had the chance to get back in the game.
For me, obviously, it was at first, yes, I was excited and everything, but at the same time, obviously, it's a real shock for the team. A lot of guys, I'm sure, were disappointed. A lot of the fans and sponsors as well wanted Marcus in the car, but for me, it's an opportunity that I had to grab with both hands. And, to go from being a co-driver to then promoted to being lead driver, albeit temporarily, was, it's obviously exciting for a young guy. I was, kicked out effectively, and I didn't want to go anywhere else. I was happy here. I had a really tough year in 2013, and so at the end of the year, I didn't want to leave. I was hopeful that something would come up here in this team, and I guess maybe I stuck it out too long. Maybe I should have, had my resume out there a bit earlier when there were seats available, but at the same time, I felt like my best opportunity was to be here. I knew Penske was coming in, the team was going to get to another level, and in years to come, we're going to be, hopefully, the team that everyone wants to drive for. And I believe that loyalty pays off, and maybe that's what this is. Maybe, me sticking with the team last year has come around in a funny kind of way and helped me get back in the seat.
Well, I think that he had the right attitude from the start. Obviously, he's gone from being a full-time driver to being an endurance driver with us. So his expectations of where he thought he would be coming into this year changed, but he handled it very maturely. I thought his attitude was fantastic. The way he integrated himself in the team, starting from Adelaide, was tremendous. So for him to have an opportunity to get back in the car full-time was something that was well-deserved for him. The circumstances obviously weren't ideal, but he's handled it very, very well indeed.
He may not be in the driver's seat, but Ambrose's commitment to the team is unwavering. A wealth of experience and knowledge of the sport, he is an invaluable asset to the team.
It's still a take it as it comes situation with Marcus. He's absolutely going to be in the car for the endurance event. We'll continue to give him track time as we can, and when he returns to the seat as a primary driver is yet to be seen. But we are taking it each race weekend as it comes. It's an unprecedented situation for anyone to be in, but I really can't stress enough how committed he is to this team, how engaged he is, particularly with the engineering group. He's just done an outstanding job for us despite not even being in the car.
Working with him is phenomenal. He's a massive asset for me to have anyway because he's been in the sport forever. He knows, the fans love him. He's great at interacting with them, great with the sponsors. And in the car, often as a driver, you focus on things that might not be critical to getting the car to go faster. You might have something happens on track which distracts you, or you spend the next lap or two focusing on that rather than actually focusing on what's important. And he's great when I pit, jumps in, leans in the door, and gets the information out of me, which is going to be important to get the car to go faster. In terms of relationship, the guy's mega. I call him Outback Jack because he's like Steve Irwin. He's just into everything. So we've been mountain biking, hiking, mountain climbing, and he's just excited by all that. So all round, he is a great bloke. He's becoming quite a good friend, and I think the morale here is as good as I've ever seen it.
When Roger Penske was looking to join V8 supercars, the first person he wanted to speak to was Dick Johnson. Penske respects and embraces Johnson's history and stature in the sport. That's reflected in the transformation of the team's headquarters on the Gold Coast.
There are some cool cars here in the museum, and this is the first thing the fans see when they arrive. What's evident is the merger between the two operations.
Exactly. I mean, this is a great welcome for the fans that come in. They walk straight in and see this lovely IndyCar sitting here. But, like you said, it's been fantastic the way we've integrated the two teams with DJR and Team Penske. But we've still managed to keep here some of the most iconic cars, I think, in Australian touring car racing with, 17 Johnson Bow and Green Stuff. And in between, we've thrown a Penske car. We've got Brad Keselowski's NASCAR here. And one of my favourites, I think, would have to be the Ryan Briscoe Indy car.
It's been a few years since I've been in the main workshop. It is immaculate, and you're not spoilt for choice for a one-car operation, are you?
No, exactly. I mean, last year, from last year to now, the workshop itself has had a complete overhaul. It had the Penske touch. It's a world-class facility now, and like you said, we're not spoilt for choice. We've got this car here actually was new last year. It was David Wall's car after his Pukekohe crash. in New Zealand, so that was brand new. Then this was debuted by Marcus Ambrose, and it was the Xbox car at Homebush. But now they're both my babies at the moment. So that's the car raced at Winton. That'll be the car race in Darwin. And it's really a NASCAR model that we've got going here with different liveries round to round, looking after our sponsors. But as well, we've got 2 cars, so the idea is it'll take some workload off the boys eventually, once we get the model to work perfect. And it means after a car has come back from a weekend, having done 500 kilometres, whatever the weekend is, we can take our time and prep that car for the next event. But in the meantime, for that very next event, we can take a car that's already been prepped and take it racing. So, like I said, we alternate cars at the moment, and it's hard work at the moment. We've got to be the busiest one-car team in pit lane, I think. But eventually, the idea is going to take some stress off the boys, and we can make sure that cars are immaculate when they roll out to the track.
Mediocrity and Penske would never be used in the same sentence. Whether it's racing or business, he does it right and plays to win. The latest addition to his motorsport portfolio is no different.
A phenomenal thing to have Roger Penske come into V8 Supercars, and we feel the weight on our shoulders for sure. It's an extraordinary opportunity for us, and it's going to take us a while to find our feet. It's going to take us a while to be truly competitive up against the big established teams in the business, but the passion from those folks, the commitment to the sport, the commitment to this team is unwavering, and we'll see through the due course of time that we'll get to that degree of competitiveness that is really the hallmark of all of Roger Penske's racing interests over the last 49 years.
He is, I don't even know how to describe it. The guy he's on the ball with everything, whether it's, I'll make a mistake on track or make a move, and he's straight away, as soon as I come in, he's like, oh, I saw you did this, or I saw that move, and he doesn't miss a beat. And then with the setup as well, he's in the debriefs, he's commenting on what he noticed with other cars coming down pit lane, talking about their cambers, and the guy is all over everything. He's the ultimate businessman, but he is still just a racer. And so it's really, really cool for me to see that. Someone, of his age is just so into it and so onto it. Everything that we do, there is a touch of Roger Penske in there. But for me to race in front of Roger as well is a big privilege, and to drive for his team as well, just to call myself a Penske driver is something that only a very few get to ever do.